All right, this is a 30-second commercial, and I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at you, but please stay with me. In just 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on car insurance. This company has been offering great rates and great service for over 75 years. I didn't know that little lizard was over 75 years old. And anytime you need help, you can speak to one of those trained specialists. And anytime you need help, you can speak to one of their trained specialists 24/7. The company's called Geico. Go to geico.com today. Sorry for all the numbers, and in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... we're out of time.
Now, Podcast One brings you Spike's Car Radio, a downloadable cars and coffee, hosted by writer, comedian, and automotive enthusiast, Spike Ferriston. Now, here's Spike.
We've got everything. Here we are. We're in Venice, right? Zuckerman, this is Venice?
Venice, California.
This is, let me just put in my earphones here.
Home of Jim Morrison. Home of
I can hear you.
boardwalk roller skating freaks, people smelling weed, begging money, drinking MD 2020.
And
the home of the smoking tire.
Matt Farah.
And Matt Farah.
When I called him up and said asked if he could podcast this week, and he said, "Yeah, you guys want to come to my joint?" I said, "Yeah, I haven't seen it." And here we are at this beautiful beachside place. It's got a nice view of the ocean. He's got his own gym. He's making us coffees. Here he comes up the stairs. Oh, okay.
You know, if it was the old,
I can't just conjure coffee.
if it was the olden,
folks.
if it was the olden days, we would say his full name and his address and date of birth. If you read old newspaper articles from like the 40s, Matthew Farah
of 23 Park Place.
Yes.
Okay, Matt. I'm getting some now. I'm glad I have my headphones in. I'm hearing a static on that microphone.
How's that? Is that better? Is that better?
I don't know. I may have to
Check
give you a
play the connections here. Play with the connection a little bit.
I wonder if it's the mic.
Testing.
Yeah, it could be the mic. Because we had some problem last week with our good friend Rod Emery. We're off to a good start today.
How's that?
That's better.
Better?
Yeah. What'd you do?
I just unplugged it and plugged it back in.
Well, there you go. Hi, everybody.
I'll hold on to it then. How about
Welcome to Spike's Car Radio. Before we get started today, we're going to just run through. I thought it'd be fun to just do. You guys don't know what I'm going to bring up today. Just talk about some of the big stories in automotive news and get your commentary on them, right?
Very good. I like
There's
that.
some big stories. Simple
Yes.
little format. I asked listeners to write down their suggestions, stories they wanted to hear perspective on. None of them really understood what that meant. They asked just the same questions they asked every week, but perhaps there's something there. We'll check that in a little bit.
When I have these really
Oh, no. See, you're there again. Your mic is done. Your mic is cooked as you just lit a joint and it's going in Zuckerman's face.
not about it. I'm over here.
Here.
Oh, don't have me. That shit's fire, son.
Maybe, but I'm
about now?
on,
Are we
on
better now?
a different pathway.
Are we
in
better
life.
now or are we staticky?
Talk.
This is me talking in a normal volume. Hello.
Yeah, that's good.
How about
Okay.
if I wiggle it around, is that a problem?
No. It's the microphone that's definitely out.
We
Give me
got to
that
move
mic.
because I feel like I'm at that Frank Zappa concert
boy.
in '79, the Joe's Garage concert at Nassau Coliseum.
Yes.
1979. I came home with red eyes and got in trouble.
What happened to the vaping? I thought you were...
Vaping is a public activity.
Oh.
We are at my house, Spike. Smoke all the ganja I want in my own fucking house.
What do you call that stuff? What's the brand name?
Right there.
It says selfies.
Yeah, because they're a little miniature. You do it by yourself.
Creme brulee mini pre-rolls.
All right.
Look at, it says the total THC is 17.1. Is that strong?
Not really. Medium.
I like
Not
it.
really.
So if it's 17.1, that would be 34.2 proof if it was booze.
Really strong is like in the high 20s.
And it comes in that little cassette deck thing right
It
there?
does. It's a
What-
pack of 10
So
or
this-
12.
And that wax stuff, what would that be?
That shit's like 80.
Really?
80, 90. Yeah, that I call the wax is what I like to call the intersection of weed and drugs. Like there was once a coca leaf and then there was crack.
Right.
That's the crack of weed. I don't use that anymore.
Anymore.
Yeah, anymore.
Could you handle it?
The problem was actually the normalization of that and the recognition of the normalization of that and realizing that was in itself
Look
a
at
problem.
the smile of Zuckerman
Yes, you
right
built
now.
a tolerance to it, and so it was normal to be that fucking high.
To watch yourself doing such a thing, yes, is a bit, disconcerting.
I like the stories of people making it and emolliating themselves.
Because when they started doing that, they were using compressed butane, which is illegal in the state of California now, and they used compressed CO2 now.
Oh, really?
So that that doesn't happen.
Well, just don't get so high you forget about my coffee, because that's the only weed I want right now.
It's like it's in an automatic brewer.
It's funny.
So
he
does it
doesn't
ding?
change.
Yeah, it will.
Okay.
If
It'll
I
ding.
took one hit off of that, you'd have to call the ambulance. You'd have to call 911. They'd have to take me away, put charcoal down my throat, make me vomit everywhere.
There was one right up the street before you got here. It's Venice on a Sunday, man. It's going to be a shit show out here today.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, we're off to a great start here. Before we get started, though, Zuckerman, we have a new T-shirt launching with Blip Shift. Blip Shift, your partner too, Matt Farah.
We have a new shirt this month as well, the Smoking Tire Podcast.
Well, hold on. I'm trying to get our shirt out there.
Well, I didn't say plug. I'm not plugging beyond that. You plug.
He's good with that joint.
Huh? Yeah,
He's
look at him
good.
go.
Professional.
Yeah.
It launches today at blipshift.com. It is the Plan Z shirt. Woo! It is a 993
shirt.
993 GT2 cut up into 3 distinct pieces. On the back it says Spike's Car Radio. It's done in Riviera Blue, and it's special for Monterey Car Week. For that car you can't afford, you get 2 or 3 friends. You split it up into a Plan Z.
Did you come up with that, or did Blip Shift come to you with that?
Blip Shift called me,
and they said
for the second one we really want to do a Plan Z. So they're listeners too.
Good
it's
for
nice.
Blip Shift.
Yeah,
They have brought, like, I'd say it's 50-50, us bringing them and them bringing us ideas.
They sent me a car, and I said, no, I know the car, and I found the picture of the car, and I actually really down to the detail, down to the wing and everything. I said, this is what I need on it, even the rivets on the wheels. I want it to look like a legit
regular 911, and it had a
I'm just
wing
very
on it.
particular about what car I'm going to put on a shirt.
I made them.
Right?
I made them read.
I know if I'm going to put a GT2 on there, 993 GT2, it should look like one right down to the details. So it's a great shirt. The shirts are what? They're $20. They're cheap.
Ours are 24, 25.
Okay,
So raise the prices.
Yeah. And
if yours are cheaper than mine, we should really get together and discuss that.
Yes, price
they
fixing.
might be. I don't know.
I'm discussing a Countach owners union, but we'll get to that later.
Keep this mic close to your mouth. For some reason, yours sounds a little less hot than mine right here. Yeah, it might be because you guys.
Because
have
I'm splitting the signal with Zuckerman.
Maybe. I thought we would start things off by talking about the new 2020 Chevy Corvette. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. There's a new Chevy Corvette, the 8th generation Chevy Corvette, the first one that's mid-engined. Oh, the weed, dude. No manual transmission, 6.2-liter V8 LT2 engine. Goes into production in late 2019. It's been everywhere. Zuckerman, have you seen it?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this thing? For some reason, everybody writes about it as like, well, wait till the Porsche guys see this.
What is that? And what happens when the Porsche people
I don't
see
know. Here are some
do
Porsche
they mean
people.
that we're going to bag on it? That we're going to be blown away?
No, we're
by
going to be blown away by
it.
it.
Matt's going to have a very detailed answer. Here's my very surface answer. And my very surface answer is it reminds me of looking at a Ferrari 430, which was like, 10 years ago? 12 years ago? That's my surface. You go further, Matt.
Okay, well, so having driven all the Corvettes up until the last ZR1, the last ZR1 with the big wings, the one from last year, that's pretty much enough. We can the front engine formula with that was taken about as far as it could feasibly go. Beyond that, I mean, I'm an okay driver. I have a mild amount of talent and a potential to avoid crashing, but unless you're a super pro, there was limits to what you could do with that. You make the car mid-engine, it immediately brings the achievable limits by the average enthusiast much higher. Car becomes much easier to drive at speed. Also, the Americans are very concerned with the 0 to 60 time. And with a front-engine vehicle, the ZR1 could barely beat the Z06, which had 100 less horsepower. So they were approaching that limit of front-engine, rear-drive, street tire. Right? Beyond that, you need a full slick to launch a car in that configuration. Whereas with a mid-engined, dual-clutch gearbox car, it's much easier to get that weight over the back wheels, to slip the clutch in the exact perfect way so they can get this 0 to 60 time down in like the 2s where they want it, because now the 2s is the standard. So there's that, right? And then the other
Is that
challenge
my coffee dinging downstairs?
It might be, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll after this, I'll go get it for you. You want a sip of this delicious carbonated one?
I
made
tried
for you?
it. It was
this
good.
Is so good,
But
right?
it's too afternoon and summertime.
Is there really
Forget
Parmesan
the fact
cheese
that
in
it's
there?
like
There is not.
There's not cheese in there?
No.
Did you fall for the cheese?
I
thing?
didn't fall for it,
We didn't.
but that was a
So,
funny line.
no,
I
it-
thought. I mean, for me, just without digging down and getting too nerdy on stats, the design, the exterior design of this car, I found to be troubling. To me, I
Troubling.
thought it was the. I nicknamed it the Chevy 488 Acura NS Vet.
Yeah.
But it looks like so many different
Yeah,
cars.
correct.
The wheels looked a little tiny on the car.
Yeah. Well, the car on stage
Yeah.
at the launch, that car was not the same ride height as
Right.
some other cars
Okay.
that we've seen. So
But it also gets to. Don't you think?
what happens when computers design everything, right?
That's
and
right.
You go, I need this coefficient of drag. I need to get this kind of fuel economy. This is the time.
Mm-hmm.
You start plugging these figures in. You end up with a lot of cars that start to look the same. They
And
have the same cooling needs. They have this. You know what I mean?
But don't you feel like we all get to the same place with the Corvette every single time? You start to bag on it a little bit, and then they go, "Well, it's only $50,000 or $60,000. It's not
That's
like that."
always
And,
the line.
you know.
I want a Corvette that excites me the way a C3 did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
When that Mako Shark came out and I saw that car and it blew my mind.
I think you are such a different person now. I don't think you can put yourself into a place where you don't care about the kind of quality that someone like a Porsche delivers.
I would
in that
agree
car.
because if it was 1968 or 1969,
Yeah.
I would say this thing's a piece of shit. It doesn't work right. The lights don't go up,
Yeah.
and there's all sorts of problems. But from a design perspective, those cars back then, the C2, the C3,
Yeah.
blew my fucking
Yeah,
mind.
they were pretty, and I think the
And
new
I don't
Corvette
like the
looks good
mid-engine. I
from
mean, I
the-
love mid-engine cars. I don't. To me, a Corvette is a front-engine
Doesn't
car.
it
It's
pretty
always-
much look like they took a C7 Corvette and just made that mid-engine? Like they just moved the cabin forward.
This
like,
to me looks like a completely different car that you wouldn't call a Corvette. You would call it something else.
they
You
had
know?
to do. You know, they had to
They
do
were
something.
there.
They were at the end of where they could have been with the previous
like a Porsche,
platform.
like an air-cooled Porsche in '98. They took it
Yeah,
to the end
exactly. It's
of
the
the
same-
logical
yeah.
line. It didn't go any further.
Yeah,
So
okay.
here's the thing.
But
is-
they should have done it 10 years ago, 15 years ago,
So
20
explain.
years
So
ago.
Started
how
in
does this? So how does the
2013
911 come from 1963 to current day with the engine in the rear, which is in the right
because
place?
the engine in the rear gives you the traction that the engine in the front does
No,
not.
mid-engine
give you.
cars are better than rear engine. There's better balance.
Fine, but both of those are better than front engine cars. And the 911's engine keeps moving more and more to the middle. And oh, by the way, the 911 RSR race car's mid-engine.
Yeah, I know
fully.
about that. I like that.
Right.
That's fine.
But there
and
is
moving
the-
the engine a little forward. But what about the the GT350R? Are we now going to have mid-engine Mustangs? Is that next?
No, because I don't think they'll ever be able. I mean, no, because I believe that competes in a different,
Right.
in a different category, a different target demo.
Right.
Corvette. The people that are into the front engine Corvettes are aging out.
Right.
They are aging out. They're dying, and
But then
in
that
order-
begs the question: is the Corvette dying?
Yeah.
as a concept.
Shouldn't we
the
have just killed
Mustang
it?
Continues to appeal to a young audience. There's some magic.
No, I
thing.
like
I
Mustangs.
think
I
the
would buy
new-
one right now.
Exactly, but it also appeals to young guys.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the Corvette doesn't appeal to young guys.
doesn't?
I would.
I don't think
let's,
so.
Let's actually take a look at that again in a year once young guys see the new one. I think it will serve that purpose of bringing that target age down. I talked to a lot of young people that are excited about it. You know what I mean?
I think this car is significant. I just
course
don't think
it's
they should have
significant.
called it a Corvette.
What do you-
I think
Exactly.
they should have come up
Corvette
another
needs
one.
to be retired. at
Yeah,
this
give it a
point.
new name. Give it get a whole
there's
new
so
deal.
much equity in Corvette, dude. You can't
Let it
retire
rest. Let it
Corvette.
rest.
We're going to
for
talk
5
about
years.
something today.
Yeah, we could talk. I mean, there's things
But
we
I'm
can
just
talk
saying,
about. I do.
there's something that feels wonky about the whole launch to me, and I'm sure it's a decent car. But for me, and I'm just speaking for myself, I feel like I've just hit on it. I don't think they should have called this the Corvette. I think they should have given it a new name, and everybody would have been fine with it.
and continued to make the front engine car also, or just
or
ended the thing?
if you're out of ideas, if the car business is not your business, then yeah,
I mean,
retire it or
yeah,
get
I
out or
suppose
come up
there's
with
a-
something innovative and new that is the framework that we like. Right?
Okay.
You could have called it the Stingray.
What?
You could have called it the Stingray, a Manta Ray. You could have had a name. You're
The
laughing.
Spotted
at me.
Eagle
Look,
Ray.
no, look. When we're working on a television show and we don't have any more stories, yeah, we either get canceled or we retire the show, or you know what? I fire all the writers and bring in ones who go, come on, can you refill this for a while?
Don't you think that if they actually did that and said the Corvette is done, this new car is called the Zora, but Corvette is dead.
The Zora?
Yeah,
for
Zora.
the
Zora
Zora
Z?
Duntov.
What about the Zora Z?
That's for the Z.
Zora Duntov. You know what I mean? Think
Yeah,
about how
I would admire that.
I think people would have lost their shit.
Oh, God.
I think
For
they
what,
would have
5
stormed,
minutes
they would
with
have
all that's
stormed
going
Bowling
on?
Green.
Think of all the things they don't
Like they're
lose
gonna
their shit
storm
over
Area
right now.
51. Right.
I think I'd be surprised there's still a Chevy at all.
A bunch of
these
old men
days.
in beige clothes and Velcro shoes storming
Yeah.
Bowling Green.
I do like, I'm looking,
It's a
Zuckerman.
slow storm.
Yeah.
I was intrigued by the interior. I like the steering wheel.
You
and
like
the,
it?
The
I hate the
spaceshipy
steering
of
wheel.
it. I don't know. It just looked different.
I hate two-spoke steering wheels so much.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys are 356 people, so maybe you're
I'm
more used to
putting the
two-spoke
Zuckerman
than
in my
me.
head. It goes, hey,
The girl can't lean over and blow you with that seat thing there next to you.
See, that
How is she
rail's
gonna
covered
do
in
that?
buttons. That whole rail is a strip of buttons. You see
Her
that?
boobs will hit the buttons.
Can't get busy.
They can't get busy at speed.
There's no headroom in that configuration.
I like the use of headroom.
Headroom.
That's very
okay,
funny.
I got to check in on my coffee. Where's my
I'll
coffee?
get it for
Do
you.
you think
Let's
okay,
take a
we're
break.
done with
Not-
Corvette. I'll get the coffee for you.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to gently put this down.
Bam.
That's what's great about the podcast. We're in Mark Maron territory now. You can just walk away.
I think I'm high. Did you get a contact high?
If I start giggling a lot, I will. You'll know that I did, but no. Just some cream and a little milk. Or milk or cream, whatever you have.
Leche de Toro.
No, like liquid weed-based things or heroin.
I would like a splash of coffee with just a little splash of cream.
So
No
Zuckerman,
chunks floating, please.
while Matt's downstairs getting coffee, listen to performance on this thing. 0 to 60, 2.8 seconds. That's good. 0 to 100, 8.6.
Very fast.
Right? 490, 495 horsepower. 8-speed dual clutch automatic.
When will it be a 28-speed dual clutch or
even
quadruple clutch?
Don't care. All right. Well, I feel like we've covered that.
I do think it needs a manual. I think that's something that is essential.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like manuals. I know that they're not as
gonna
fast. I
slow
know
it
they're not as
down.
good. I know all of it. I know that it's not. But driving is just not about how fast. It's
No,
also
I know.
about
We've been
tactile
over
and-
this. I get it. But
and
still, I
emotion.
mean,
Thank you.
do you feel that at all when you're in the GT3 Touring? Don't you feel like I could do this better with the PDK? I could drive
I
faster.
like the shift. I like the shift.
too.
The question wasn't, do you like it or not like it? I was saying, don't you feel like
No, I'm always
it's holding
happy.
you back a little bit?
No, I'm always happy that I can shift that car. I am happy that I have the ability.
You're
to
not
shift.
answering the question.
What is it holding you back from?
It's not that it's holding you
I don't
back.
feel
It's
I can
just
do it
that
better.
that it's
How many races have your shift times lost you?
It feels like I'm a human governor on it a little bit.
That's
like
what I want to feel like.
because you want to go faster than you can drive?
no, because this manual transmission.
Yeah.
Which I get it. I feel the same way about manual transmission. I'm just saying is mated to something that could go faster if it didn't have this transmission. That's
Yes.
the little.
And it would
when
be
I'm
less
dri-
fun doing it.
Yes, and so when I'm driving
I
the
know.
car with PDK, I'm
know
not
the
even
fun.
I'm thinking about how disappointed I am, how much more fun I would have with a manual. I
See,
don't
lately
it
I've been
your
the
way.
opposite. Maybe it's just the fact that I'm kind of dailying this around in traffic, and I like to have a cup of coffee and a phone. But it's I don't know. Anyway,
I just found a cup holder for my Safari car. I'm very excited.
that's
It's
good. This
basically a metal ring
this
that
coffee's
mounts on the
delicious
seat
here.
rail.
What kind of coffee did you make us?
Folgers.
You know what? This
You
is
are
from
high.
a company called this is from a company called
Sanka.
Apex Coffee Roasters.
Okay.
I'm looking at a couple of different companies to replace my departed coffee sponsor,
Oh,
and so I'm trying some
Really?
different roasts. And this one is from a company
so
called
you have to
Apex.
like the thing you endorse on your podcast?
Only if it's something I have to eat or drink. No, I don't have to like it always, but I do have to. If it's food, for sure. But if it's I do have to think that someone might conceivably find a good use. You know what I mean? Even if
Right.
it's not something I would use, it's got to be something I think is a legitimate, useful product for somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything we want to say more about the Corvette? I want to talk for a second about our Zagato before we take a break.
One last thing I want to say about the
Yes.
Corvette is please let's get some press cars. Why don't you work your magic? I do want to drive it. I want to be open to experiencing it.
Yeah, okay.
The launch isn't going to be until
For a while.
at least October.
But we've got good
November,
press cars
probably.
coming in. I'm getting the Lamborghini Huracan Evo, which I know you've
Oh, fuck.
driven.
Oh,
I
yeah,
watched
I
your
had
one
it.
take. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. It got me
it's
really
the-
excited about
it's
it.
the Performante, but with a normal suspension, which is very helpful.
I'm getting the new Range Rover Evoque,
Nice.
which
I
would be
bet you
fun
like
to
it.
spend a weekend.
I bet you like it.
I want to, I happen to have been Raptor crazy for the last 2 weeks, and I saw that you have that Hennessy
A
Raptor.
Ranger. It's a Ranger Raptor.
It's not a Velociraptor? What is it?
So Hennessy tunes the Raptor, the
Right.
full F-150 Raptor.
Okay.
They have tunes for the EcoBoost engine up to like 600 horsepower.
Yes.
And then
A
if you-
2.5 liter EcoBoost
It's a
600.
3.5 EcoBoost,
Okay.
but yes. And that motor makes 600 horsepower in the Ford GT. Same,
Unbelievable,
It's the same
huh?
motor. And if you want more, he will take out that engine and put in a supercharged 5-liter V8 for 750 horsepower.
Wow.
In the truck, which is awesome. This is a new product. So the new Ford Ranger, the smaller truck, the mid-sized truck that they've been selling all over the world except
But us.
America for like 6-7 years now. 6 years, I think. We finally get it here. There will be no Raptor version. There's a Raptor version overseas, which has a diesel in it. So Hennessy is turning Rangers here into pseudo Raptors, which he's calling a Velociraptor Ranger package. I told him Velociranger is a way better fucking
Yes.
name. And he said he didn't want to bother Ford to try and get the rights.
No, I like Velociraptor.
So this is a Velociraptor Ranger.
Ranger.
So it's the Ranger, obviously. It's a 2.3 liter turbo,
oh, boy.
4-cylinder,
Black, right?
black with a 10-speed automatic gearbox and like off-road suspension and bash bars and skid plates and stuff.
Did you take it off-road?
Yes.
Where?
Gorman, Hungry
Oh, you
Valley.
did?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I
Perfect. That's right where I wanna go.
Beat the crap out of
Really?
it. Yes.
And you're
I treated
gonna
it very
get this
badly.
for me?
Yeah. Well, Vinny, who lives there,
Right.
is
He lives with you?
he's staying with me while he's here. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He's probably gonna move in with his chick pretty soon, which I'm kind of excited about. But
Yeah.
he's the best roommate ever.
Yeah. if
Vinny
he can get
Russo
you-
is the most
If
responsible.
he can get you Hennessy trucks.
He's not only is he the PR man for Hennessy, but he is. Oh, hello! Fun day on the beach.
Is it just a guy walking with a siren? How is there room for a
Baywatch.
police?
I'll be there. I'll be there. It's Baywatch out there, bro. It's a red
There they
truck.
go
I
It's a
bet
by.
big
people
deal.
would put their hand up to have Vinny as a roommate now. That was a really good
Listen,
Vinny pitch.
I went on vacation. I went on my honeymoon, and I came back, and in the garage, do you see my snow tires hanging
Right.
on the wall? He just did that because he felt like it. Like he just fixes stuff and installs
Wow.
stuff, and he can work on a Countach. It's unbelievable.
All right, let's
Why
keep
don't we,
going
why
here.
don't we
Let's-
sell him on the podcast? Listeners, please put in bids for Vinny.
You know, one of those like
Vinny's friendship.
beefcake auctions.
Yes.
You know that was my nickname growing up, right? Vinny Sanchez in high school.
How
Did you
does
not
a
know
name
that,
like
Zuckerman?
that come?
Is that racist? Was that racist back
Vinny,
then?
because I look like Vince the Muskrat from Deputy Dog, as someone pointed out. And I don't know where the Sanchez came in, but that was my name for 3 years in high school.
Did you try and
Tommy
grow a shitty
Terranova gave it to
mustache?
me. You don't pick your nicknames. These are bestowed upon you, usually in mocking fashion. And Tommy
You're not
Terranova
supposed to like
said,
it.
"You're Vinny Sanchez," and I just
And
I
what was
went with it.
Tommy's nickname?
Huh? Nova.
Tommy Nova?
Yeah,
Did he
no,
drive
he
a
was
Nova?
Tom Terranova.
Oh, right.
Yeah. He had a nickname. I'll remember it, but I know he used to call him Terranova. It's a great last name.
It is a good last name. It's like
Yeah.
a drummer from a metal band.
What I remember is his parents gave him a waterbed, and that was big news in my town. And when you're in the 9th grade, you got to come check this out.
Did you hear DeNova has a waterbed?
Terranova's
Going
getting
to
down.
Terranova.
Going to
Terranova.
Oh, Terranova.
Yeah, Tom Terranova.
TT.
Tom Terranova
It's funny
famously.
that his name means new land, and yet he sleeps on water.
Oh, look at that! He
That's
and
the
the
weed.
the junior the junior high talent show at our high school, West Bridgewater High School. He lip synced a Black Sabbath song, and he thought it would be really cool for there to be a mist coming off the stage while he sang. So he went and he took the school fire extinguishers from the back, and when he started singing, blasted them across the stage, and it fell down. What he didn't know is they were chemical extinguishers, and the entire. And I still remember, and people are coughing, and suddenly there's a panic, and they leave the auditorium, and I was in the hallway getting ready to go on myself, and I saw Mr. Benson, our principal, just running, going, "Fucking Terra Nova!" screaming, just running down the hall after him.
Everyone in the audience had to go find
Good times.
Terra Nova.
They had to
And
find
Terra
Terra
Nova,
Nova.
where are you now?
Tommy Terranova?
Hit
Well, I
us
know
up
his
on
brother's
LinkedIn.
hanging out. And I know Ronnie. There's Tommy. They're great guys. I love
That
those
sounds
guys.
like a Queen's family if there ever was.
Tom Terranova it's back in the time of no supervision. So Tommy would call you up on your home phone and goes, "Hey, we're going to have a BB gun fight at Garekis' house." And I go, "All right, what's that?" He goes, "You got a BB gun?" I go, "I'm not allowed." They go, "All right, we got plenty of them." And we would line up on two sides of a yard at Garekis' house. This is before the parents got home.
Oh, it was like a Civil War status.
Yes.
One team behind the house, one team behind the Garekis cars, and BB gun fight. And guess what?
You're the worst kid ever.
I was coming along for the ride of a fight that I guess had happened before. But as you can imagine, you're ducking behind cars. So what are the BBs hitting? They're breaking windows and hitting the Garekis cars. And what we're doing
Actual war.
is we're firing at them, and they duck behind the house. So what's happening there? We're shooting out their windows and the rest of it. And, the end of it, after about a half an hour, I think the Garekis boys finally realized what they had done. And we were like, "See ya!" And we got on our bikes and left them with their parents.
Did you ever see them again?
Yeah. No,
And
they
how
were
they-
in big trouble, but it was like their idea. So we were like, "All right, we're happy to help you."
Oh my God.
All right, I wanted to talk about the Zagato. We got to take a break. We'll come right back. Let me tell you something. Did you know most people have no idea whether or not the motor oil they're using is good enough to protect their engine? Everybody's driving around not even caring about what's going on under the hood. Only one brand literally goes the extra mile to test everything, including ensuring they're the right motor oil for your car, and I'm talking about Valvoline. That's right, Valvoline is the only motor oil brand in the world with an engine lab completely dedicated to testing motor oil. Valvoline takes their products and their competitors, I might add, and runs them through the gauntlet. I'm talking thousands of miles. Then the engineers and technicians take those engines apart to evaluate exactly what happened. Please don't try this at home. Trust that Valvoline has done it for you. Was there carbon buildup? How did the seals hold up? Did the engine perform like it was supposed to? And most importantly, were the critical engine components protected? You don't know, but Valvoline does. So when Valvoline is formulating motor oil for your engine, they know exactly how it performs and what protects it best, because they've seen the results firsthand. It's why I trust Valvoline in my car, and it's why Valvoline has been trusted for more than 150 years. Head over to Valvoline.com/Spike to see what product is right for your engine. That's Valvoline.com/Spike.
You're listening to Spike's Car Radio.
Here we are. We're back. It's really fast.
Give him a beat to fucking edit.
No, he doesn't want to beat. He's fine. Look, let's do a quick Zagato update, and then I want to get into this next Act 2 about a subject Matt's going to know a lot about, and I see him tweeting about. But first, the Zagato got delivered, Zuckerman, and you saw online that they delivered the wrong car from LAX, right?
Wait, I'm sorry. Back it up. I haven't been following.
Okay, hold on.
Can we tell? So
The Zagato
landed here.
the
in
Zagato
Los
gets
Angeles.
the Zagato goes from Milan at Zagato at Milan onto a truck, onto a plane.
Yes.
It flies. It lands at LAX. We get a note. It's there. He's at work. I say I'll meet them down there at 8 a.m. A truck pulls up to Zuckerman's hangar with the wrong car on it.
Is it another Zagato?
No.
Not even close to 9/11. Really? Yes.
And it's not even the first time this has happened before to either us. And the guy says, "What? But it's a 1961." And I'm looking at this early 70s, like our group 9/11.
No.
And then I, of course, put it in my Instagram story because I know in a second someone goes, that's
my car.
And someone did instantly go, that's Arthur's rally car from Sweden or something. What is it doing there? Should I tell him? And I'm like, I already sent it back.
Was Arthur's rally car supposed to be in Los Angeles at least?
It was in customs, I'm guessing, because it was being sent up to Monterey. I don't know. But eventually, so I had to leave, and then Zuckerman's guys took delivery of the car, and Zuckerman looked at it yesterday. I looked at it. Go ahead, Zuckerman. We're both thrilled with this thing.
Thrilled. I was absolutely blown away by the car. It is gorgeous. The fit and finish of what Zagato did blew me away. 100%.
And what about the smallness, Zuckerman?
I loved it. It's supposed to be small. It's
Weren't
supposed
you
to be
worried
light.
about the smallness?
We were, but you know what? I'm
Somebody
pulling up a
didn't
picture right now.
someone go and
Look
then
at
not
that.
fit in it? God, that looks really good. That one that sold on Bring a Trailer was the Speedster or the convertible.
it doesn't
was-
work.
is
It-
ugly.
That should not have. That
This
should
is
not have
way
been there.
better.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Well, our car. We made sure they built our car last, and so they learned on the previous 8 cars built, and they delivered a perfect car. The only thing we're doing to it is we need to put seatbelts in it. They delivered
They
it like
deliver it without seatbelts.
They delivered it like a late 50s 356. There was no seatbelts and there was no license plate bracket, just like it was delivered in the factory. Because
You know what you can do is have Anthony print you a sticker, license plate, and then you don't even have to make one.
Ben Clymer has the only other one in the United States, and he had a special bracket made that goes from the exhaust, I think, up and around, so he doesn't have to drill the bumper. It's such a beautiful little piece.
The bracket comes off the exhaust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense, does it?
That'd be interesting.
Why?
Something heating up. Hey, touch the license plate.
Yeah.
It's not electrical.
I feel like worst case, a rear
Here, I can
license
show
plate
you.
bracket is not the worst
It's
thing.
not the end of the world.
I mean, a car's got to have a license plate, right? Like it's.
There'll never be anything on the front. That would be impossible. And it is small, but the A-Barth was small, too.
Yeah.
All of these...
Here's the bracket right here. He sent us some pictures. He's loving it.
Did you drive it yet?
Yeah, I drove it this morning. Look at that. So I think it comes up. I'm still not sure how that works, but
Whoa!
He does not-
What is
It's
going?
a contraption.
on
Isn't that
with
wild?
That. Yeah. So there's a vertical piece welded onto the muffler, goes up, and holds a T-bar, and then 2 horizontal sort of things that look kind of like short Slim Jims, and then a vertical section. I mean, it's pretty out of the way. It's nicely made, but
and then
you think that
comes,
vibrates?
I don't,
It
I
comes-
don't
it
mind
comes
drilling
forward.
the car. I don't mind putting a bracket on the car.
No, we're going to do that.
Yeah.
I
So,
think
John
or
Wilhoit
get
is-
a sticker made from Anthony.
No, we'll drill it.
All right.
I mean, it would have it. It's got 2 lights on the back. If you look at the Zagato itself, it's got 2 license plate lights right there, and it's made to put the plate.
Oh, it
right-
has the license plate lights, just
Yeah.
no bracket.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, then just put a
Look.
bracket on. Let me see.
So that's it sitting on top. That's our car sitting with the license plate we're going to put on it on the exhaust.
Are these chrome things license plate lights?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they point
But
in.
for
Sideways?
Europeans.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
European license.
It's beautiful,
plate.
right?
Fire. Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
The engine cover's kind of strange. But
No, it's like that's mesh. That's black
I know
mesh.
it's
kind
mesh.
of hard to see.
Wow, the interior
no, wait,
rules.
that's a 550. That's
Oh.
a different one.
Oh,
but I was
okay.
taking these other pictures. There's the A-Bar Carrera right there.
yeah, it
And
looks
there's-
amazing. It looks fun.
It's an incredible car.
What does it
It's-
weigh?
It's super. I don't know. That's
It's
another
got to
thing.
be 1,500 pounds or lighter.
It feels
is
like
so
you're-
light.
And how much power is it?
It's all the power of a 61 356
So
engine.
that's got, what, 75
yeah,
horsepower?
exactly. I
Yeah.
think. Right in that, and it moves Zuckerman, and it makes a great little sound with the exhaust. And as you know, it's
stable.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. But what we're doing right now is we're sending it down. We send every car we get down to Steve Alarcon at Johnson Alignment to just make sure everything's going straight. And John Wilhoit's just going to look it over and give it its thumbs of approval. Maybe
Cool.
tweak the fuel mix a little bit. It smelled a little gassy, and get it ready. Put the plates
Supposed to
in.
spell gassy.
He's the only guy I think we would let drill holes in that car, right, Zuckerman?
Yes, agree.
So he's going to get it ready. You can see it at the Works reunion where it is being featured up in Monterey
And
on
it
Friday,
is the
right?
100th anniversary
And it's the
of
one-
Zagato.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And just a little backstory. This car was offered to me on Instagram by Zagato, and I was in the middle of car matchmaking, so I passed on it. I ran it by Zuckerman, and he was like, I don't know. Then he and I were flying into Monterey that week, and as we're landing in the airport, Porsche Panorama had a 9-page pictorial on this car, and we saw pictures of it, and we went, holy crap, what a huge mistake we made. This is 2 years ago, almost to the day. And as the plane was landing, Zuckerman goes, you got to get that shit now. And I got a signal, and Paolo from Zagato was there in Monterey, and I immediately emailed him, and I said, hey, Paolo, it's Spike. Can we get that car? And he goes, oh, well, I don't know. You passed on it a few weeks ago. And I go, we need that car. Eventually, 2 days later, he said, yes, you can have it. And now here we are.
Have the car. He was not. You could always have the car.
No, there are only 9 made, and he had already offered it to someone else, but he felt like
you're
he would
more
honor
important.
that promise. And now here we are 2 years later going back with the car. I feel like we should try to get it at Pebble Beach, right, Zuckerman? Ben's
Why
going to
not?
be there with his. They're celebrating Zagato, right?
We should
Put on the lawn at Pebble Beach.
Near the lawn.
somewhere around there.
Anyway, all right, let's get back to
Look,
business here.
Look how good Vinny is. I just got a text from my roommate Vinny.
Yeah.
Got a message from Italy about my AC switch. So my switch for my air conditioning in the Lambo is sticking.
Right.
But if you get a Countach spec switch, it's literally a little knob. It's like $400. But got a message from Italy. The same switch was installed in the Di Tommaso Pantera, Ferrari 308, and Alfa Romeo Alfetta and Bertone US spec. One of those will be much cheaper. Yes.
Vinny pays his way all
Vinny,
the time.
Italian parts
All right,
specialist.
let's get crazy here. Are you ready?
crazy.
I want to wade into self-driving cars.
There's no such thing as a self-driving car.
No, wait, hold on. Let me set it up. Because your Twitter feed, Roy's Twitter feed,
So full of reality, of real reality.
and the amount of Tesla madness that's going on here.
Very Trumpy.
And Zuckerman just waiting on the sidelines to sue everybody who gets run over. What?
I'm waving
He's
my wad
waving
of money.
cash. He's waving cash around.
What? Catch us up to this thing that's going on Twitter with you and everybody else in Tesla right now. Sum it up for us as easily as you can. I know it's complicated, and we'll
Okay.
start there. How about?
So here's the problem with Tesla. Tesla it wants to be a software company, a tech company, right? But they're not. They're a car company. Car companies make things. Things are very complicated. They then sell, maintain, warranty, and service these things. That's a very complicated industry. They're a car company. They're not a tech company. If they make tech, but in order to get the tech, you have to buy a car, they're a car company. Okay? I have no problem with Tesla's vehicles. I think they're nice to drive, actually, and I've had quite a nice time driving them. However, they have experienced quality issues. It's ongoing.
But let's get to the self-driving part.
So the real problem is they have pivoted. Originally, it was all about getting people in electric cars, right?
Right.
Now it's about being a leader in, quote, autonomy.
Okay.
The problem is that they are not building any autonomous cars, nor will they be building any autonomous cars, because a level 5 full self-driving car is decades away.
So what are they selling then
What
with their
they are
autopilot?
selling
What are
is-
they calling that?
They're calling it autopilot and with a full self-driving option. Literally, they're selling something called full self-driving.
Okay. And the end user, the person with the Tesla, who's
Yes.
who's a moron for the most part, is one
Not
of these.
always,
But
not
for the
always.
most part, these are moronic humans.
Not always, but
But it filters down to them where they go. All I have to do is press
correct.
autopilot, and then I can watch Netflix on my
Right.
screen
There
here,
are
right?
there are disclaimers in the car. However,
Yeah.
there is a lot of wink, wink, push the limits
Right.
of the system. Those disclaimers are just for the lawyers. It's
Copy.
really and Elon is the leader of that.
Right. So not unlike the bird scooters that are dumped here, and we tell everybody to wear a helmet.
Yeah.
We tell everybody to ride one at a time.
Right.
People are going fucking nuts on these
Exactly.
things on sidewalks
Now,
with
the
3
problem
guys
is
on it.
when
I
you
get
have
it.
half measures to full autonomy. Level 5 autonomy means take a nap, put in a destination, the car gets you there. Or, a remote summon or a, quote, robo-taxi. That's a level 5.
Right.
That shit ain't happening. Not in decades, all right? The decision-making ability that a car would have to operate fully autonomously is extraordinary, and no one's got anything like it.
Right.
So, it's certainly nothing that could be handed over to consumers. There's a few research vehicles like Waymo and but nothing consumer ready for years and years and years and years. The problem is half measures on the way there. Hands-off autopilot without a driver's monitoring system, pushing the limits of sensors and computing hardware to fundamentally put on a party trick.
Right.
Is dangerous because it creates complacency in the driver.
Mm-hmm.
A driver that thinks that this car will drive for them 90% of the time will stop paying attention.
And where is it going to go wrong? Where's it going to go wrong?
Everywhere.
At a completely random time, in a completely random place, in a completely random situation. Nobody can predict it. Monitoring a system that is almost perfect but could fuck up catastrophically in an instant is way harder than just driving.
Copy. Got it.
It's
Got
a
it.
deadly weapon.
Well,
and Matt really sums it up really, really well. It is not there yet, but people are going to believe it's there, and people are going to misuse it. And you've also said, Spike, there is a hubristic nature of the tech world that believes that they know the way forward. And
The disrupt.
yeah,
Let's disrupt by putting robot cars on the street that, yes, they'll make some accidents.
well, you're not the only guy out there decrying what's happened.
I've been
Sully
reading,
Sullenberger weighed in this week.
You can't fuck with Sully?
He said Tesla announced the launch of the so-called full self-driving features that are largely unregulated as soon as this year. This should concern everyone who will share the same streets as a driver or pedestrian.
Yeah.
that's right.
Captain Sully Sullenberger.
Who had to land the self-flying plane, the autopilot plane.
The plane is on autopilot.
You hypocrite! No, I'm just joking.
And look, the biggest problem is like you said, the hubris, because Tesla's cars on their own merits are incredibly advanced. They do some really neat stuff. They can, handle some basic steering and braking on highway situations. They don't do it very well on side streets. And if it was enough, if the cars were profitable, right? If every car he sold made a profit, then he could sell the cars on their own merits and go, I make a better product, so you should buy it. And he'd be right. But the way they finance that company is like a tech company. He's got to keep pumping that stock price to get the rounds of financing. And the only way to do that is not necessarily make profit on cars, which is very hard. It's just to keep the hype machine going. You keep the hype machine going, and people invest in your aspirations and beliefs, and that you will have the answer eventually. They invest in you, not the success or failure of a very complicated company. It becomes less about an objective reality. It's very Trumpy.
Right.
And I got a lot of this from a book I'm reading written by Ed Niedermeyer. It's called Ludicrous, the Unvarnished History of Tesla, and it's coming on newsstands soon. I have a review copy, and I blasted through it. It's really, really interesting.
Are you done?
I'll be done. I'll give it to you when I'm
Please.
done. Yeah. I've got like maybe 20 pages left. It's really
I like
interesting.
that. Well,
And
here,
it's-
let me throw up the flip side of this. The world's last week, the world's largest auto reinsurer and mapping company said that advanced driver assistance systems, that would be lane change and all sorts of
Autopilot is an advanced driver system. It
has
just
the
a fun
potential to
name.
reduce motor accident frequencies by
Yeah.
up to 25%.
Sure.
Cutting global insurance premiums.
And it
That's
has
right.
the
80 AS
potential
cars
to
by
increase
20
accidents by
For fully
50%.
20 billion dead. But you can't argue that those systems a lot of time do stop
yes.
accidents and do save
One
money.
day it will work.
So what's
One
the
day.
way forward here? When you have technology that's going to help save lives and reduce accidents, yet
I have an option.
Go ahead.
So what a Tesla is promising, and the future some people want, is what you would call series autonomy, right? Either I am driving or the car is driving, okay? What about a different way that my friend Alex Roy likes to talk about called parallel autonomy? And that is where you drive the car, it listens to you, goes where you want it to go. It's not being driven by a computer, but it is uncrashable. Right? It has enough advanced driver safety systems that are and it has a really good cruise control as well.
Right.
A traffic cruise control, let's call it, right? Other than that, other than the slow traffic, whatever, you drive, seems like it's not there at all, but if you're about to crash, it saves you. That seems reasonable, doesn't it?
Maybe.
I think people want to talk about a full self-driving car. They talk about safety, but I think that's bullshit. I think they just want...
They want to be lazy.
They want laziness, and they want a party trick. Those are the two things they want.
Well, guess what? Tesla announced this week that they are adding Netflix and YouTube streaming to its cars.
I feel like I'm on a Harry Shearer show right now.
Fourth part of this story. They have apparently deals in the making to offer streaming of Netflix shows and YouTube in their cars to just get ready for these full self-driving abilities as soon as regulators approve it. So it's clear
there's
what's going
no
on
regulation covering self-driving cars. If Tesla really had the technology, they
soon,
could literally
when
turn
it
it
happens,
on if they wanted to.
You will be able to lay back and watch Orange is the New Black.
I guarantee you, Spike, you will not be able to stream shit in that car unless the electronic parking brake is set.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
And that someone very quickly will figure out how to override that system. They will
And
watch a movie and they will smash into something and blame autopilot.
Yes,
This is the same human that wants to wire our brains directly to the internet. That's his latest stupidity.
He's a meme. He's an actual walking, breathing South African meme.
Right. If I were still writing a show called Seinfeld, Elaine would be working for Elon Musk right now. Thaddeus Horn or something would be his name.
And
he would come in with these ideas constantly. He would be leaving meetings. I've heard enough. He would walk out 2 minutes later. He'd want to have your brain wired.
Elaine, figure out how to dig a tunnel from here to JFK Airport. Like that.
Yeah,
we need
right.
that. The world needs that.
I'm going to invent a stick that blows fire out the end. The flamethrower, it's called. Well, it's already been invented. Anyway.
Oh, the fucking flamethrower.
I know.
I'm going to save the environment, but to raise money, I'm going to sell you a flamethrower in California.
All right, we're going to get to listener questions in a second. Quickly, anybody want to talk about these? Why are people in Brazil making fake Lamborghinis? Did you read this story?
Because it's probably really hard to get real ones. I don't know.
But
they're semi-submarine
This
Coke,
story-
they're Coke submarines. They have this production line, and they have some extra capacity.
This story seems to come up every 3 or 4 years, and here's another one. Brazilian police arrest father and son in raid on fake Lamborghini and Ferrari factory.
How do the cars look? That's the most
They look
important.
pretty good.
Yeah.
They are.
I mean, as far as just a body shell goes, they don't look terrible.
They don't look horrible.
They don't look $66,000.
Yeah, the replicas were being offered through social media.
Bro.
Social media.
They never heard of an
For
04
$48,000.
Gallardo with 50,000 miles. Just get one
Tools, molds. It just seems like if you're going to fabricate shit, that's a hard thing to make. Why go into fake Lamborghinis?
Listen, if the Chinese can't do it, the Brazilians can't do it.
I just don't. The only people that care, I can't believe we have to keep saying this, but the only people who would care if a car is fake or real, or if the badging, if you up badge your car, are the only people who notice are people who know that it's fake.
Right.
Yeah.
No one thinks you're 528 with the M5 badge is an M5, you fucking moron. Nobody.
All right. When we come back, we will take your listener questions.
And screen them first.
Think of all the weird things you find in cars. I find Zuckerman's green teas all over the place. Zuckerman, please stop doing that. I'm not talking about your garden variety petrified French fries or melted crayons. I'm talking about snakes, bizarre trinkets, the kind of stuff that just makes you wonder about folks. Another thing that makes you wonder, but in a good way, are Continental belts. Bet you didn't know they're OE in tens of millions of Chrysler, Dodge, Ford, and GM vehicles that roll off the assembly line. They're also OE on the majority of BMWs and VWs. Now Continental is launching the aftermarket multi-V belt with the OE pedigree. It's their OE technology series, belts that are fanatically engineered for perfect fit, form, and function. And Continental has an OE technology series multi-V belt for 98% of the vehicles on the road in the US and Canada. That's Canada. Hey, you get enough surprises working on cars and trucks. A belt should not be one of them. Go with the Continental OE Technology Series Multi-V Belt, the belt with the OE pedigree. To get the full story, visit oetechnologyseries.com.
You're listening to Spike's Car Radio.
All right, here we are. We're back with your questions. Sunroof Delete wants to know, do you think the C8 will be used as a base for a Cadillac Halo car? Matt Farah, what do you think?
I think that if that happens, the Cadillac version will be hybridized or electrified somehow. There was a lot of studies done. I don't know about studies, but examination of the front trunk area. And I think at the launch they had some exposed chassis to look at, and it seems like there was room for some battery packs and a front motor of some kind.
Clever.
Which
Very smart
could be
answer.
really neat.
Well, someone wants to know our perspective on the Seinfeld European collectibles story. Well,
There's been a development there? Did it
Many.
actually?
there have been many, and we're hoping it will be an entire episode of Spike's Car Radio coming soon.
I'd like to sit in on that.
Oh, yeah.
I like the new season of Comedians in Cars is good.
It's great.
I like some of them a lot.
Did you see the Eddie Murphy one?
The Eddie Murphy one was so interesting.
So good.
I thought that was really one of the most unexpected things I had seen.
And you know what?
Not being funny,
And you know
then
what?
being terrified
exactly.
the entire time.
And let me tell you
So
something.
interesting.
Here's what I found most interesting about it. Working in the world of entertainment, it highlights the fact that some people are interviewed too much.
Yeah.
And
then there are actually reasons to interview people, and Eddie Murphy was one of them.
Yeah.
And when you see the same names interviewed over and over again, I didn't know how much that bothers me already. And then
Eddie
you see-
Murphy and Steve Martin's episode were very similar because they both had huge highs and then did movies and now kind of do lower key stuff, and they both had the same sort of real fear of getting back into stand-up comedy and that kind of thing. I thought it was
But
very
when
interesting.
when was the last time we heard from Eddie Murphy?
Oh, forever.
Forever, right? So you want to know what he's like, and
Yeah.
I went to a screening of that episode with Jerry, and brought Eddie Murphy out, and again, I just saw a guy I didn't know. I know Eddie Murphy's comedy. I just didn't know him as a person. You get a sense of it, and
Yeah.
it's very different than what he is. But
Yeah.
really charming, wonderful episode, and really that's what an interview show should be: talking to people we haven't heard from in a while, and giving us a little taste of
I
it.
got very jealous of Jerry's green Mercedes wagon.
Oh yeah,
That thing is the jam.
that is a Mercedes motoring car, right?
It's a
That was
J.G. Francis car.
J.G. Francis. It was
Yeah.
up in Monterey last year at this time, and Jerry bought it right after that, right?
I'm looking forward to running into him.
Yeah.
That thing was that green was hot.
Yeah.
That was lovely. It's a good season. He's done well.
Well, someone just asked about the new season review of Comedians and Cars Getting Coffee. You just got it.
Just
you gotta
got it.
watch it. It's good. Jerry,
you know what's crazy? Actually, randomly, I've watched every episode of that show. He has now been in completely different places: New York, Jersey, L.A., around. He's been to literally 6 different restaurants that I frequent or have some close connection to in completely different parts of the country.
And what does that mean?
I don't fucking know. It means we run in the same Jew New York circles. I guess.
Exactly. The same kind of food choices appeal.
All right, someone, I don't know if we'll be able to get into this as deeply as this person wants to, but our perspective on the Porsche Type 64, the 60K10 Berlin Rome Wagen
this
being
the one
auctioned
being
off.
auctioned?
Yeah.
Hold on, being auctioned off by R.M. Sotheby's. I don't know if I sent this to you, Zuckerman. I have the Andy Prill Porsche Classics 53 pages
Yes.
evaluation on this car.
Yes.
Did you read it?
I did.
Yeah. What are your
The
thoughts?
Mueller
Go ahead.
report.
It is like the Mueller
You know,
report.
it
You're
is,
right.
And it's like anything.
Wait, let me just stop you right there. The estimate for the car is what? 22 million?
Something like that.
Okay.
Okay, it's a landmark car for somebody. What is it really? I don't know. Is it, again, we get into the question of how much of Ferdinand Porsche's vehicle is still there today. But there's some of it, and it is a very early, it's the 1938 car. There's something there. There's absolutely something there, but what is it worth? It's a bauble for a billionaire is what it is.
That's a good term.
I think kind of as we've said before, this car was offered to friends of ours over and over again, and the price just kept going up, and the car never seemed to sell. And it always came down to the same question. The authenticity, I think, is there, but what do you do with this? It's not something you're going to be driving a lot. and for $22 million.
I mean, there's
$22 million.
There's no $22 million car you're driving a lot, is there?
Yeah, there are Ferraris
I mean,
that you can drive that are up in that zone. A GTO, which is twice that, is something you can race. You can really drive the fuck out of those cars. You can tour in them.
Why can you not drive this thing?
Look at it. Look at it. You can drive it.
Of course you could. So why did you say
You
it's
think-
not something you're driving?
I don't.
It doesn't look comfortable, but
I don't think that's something you're going to get in every day and drive. Whereas
the Rough Riders are here. Sorry.
with a GTO, you're going to get in a GTO and you can race it. You can tour in it. You can spend 14 days on the road in it. I don't know. For me, I would say if this car were, say, $75,000, I'd say, yeah, buy it, put it in the corner and a little sign on it and say, this is the first Porsche, I think. I know they took a staple gun and put the Porsche emblem on it, after later on.
It's like one of these early manuscripts, early books that they auction off for $75 million. You don't read it either, right? You put it
sits
somewhere.
under glass.
It sits under glass. It's climate controlled, and it's a very interesting historic object. And
I think, don't you? I mean, I'm angry about it, and I think I'm only angry because this value that's been put on it, right? If it's valuable and if it's so important,
why isn't the factory?
Give it to the factory.
But then
let them have it.
Questions about what was going on in 1938 when they were making this car. Maybe we don't want a car that early. Maybe we don't want to address pre-48 history.
That's a good. Oh yeah.
Well, here
I have a book I just read.
Look at this
called Blitzed, and it's about how the entire Third Reich was on insane amounts of drugs.
Yes.
Look at
speed meth
that Prill has put together here. Look
yeah,
at the picture of
that's
it
it.
damaged on the side of the road. It's really a
Someone
beautiful
crashed
little
into
document
something.
here.
Yeah.
And it's really a well put together history of the car. But
I mean, look, at $22 million, there should be no questions, right? That price, that's a no questions price.
After if you can believe this report, after reading it, you believe that it is wholly authentic. And again, I don't think that's my issue with it. I think it's the price that they're asking for it and what you do with it. And
yeah, my issue is I don't have a fucking hundredth of that money to spend on a car.
Think of all you could buy for $22 million.
Yeah.
Think of all you could buy.
I mean, you'd never see me. I'd gone. I'd buy an island and a boat, and I'm done. I'm out.
What are you wearing on your wrist today? Watch.
I'm
watch
wearing
for a
the
second.
gold sub because I
beautiful.
decided to up my douche for the weekend.
I like that. No,
But
it looks
I'm
nice.
I'm feeling confident.
I don't think it's douchey.
Feeling-
Zuckerman's
I
got
like
a
it.
Daytona.
I didn't want to say anything, but can I ask you about that Submariner you've got there?
The 1680.
It's really nice.
I know the strap is very provocative. It's
I
Molquin.
can see its cheapness from across the fucking room.
It is
That's a
not
cheap
cheap in
strap.
any way. No, it's
not?
very expensive. British
Really?
company. Yeah, they make this green hunter green. That's
Wow, for an
calfskin.
expensive strap.
And
it
whenever
looks cheap.
whenever I post these, people go crazy for it. You could not be more off in your.
You should give it away because it looks like it costs $18.
Oh my God! No,
Sorry,
no.
it does.
These are really beautiful and prized.
I think
and
it's
a
because
wonderful company.
I think it's because the sides are painted the same color as the leather. I think that's why.
Here, I'm going to send you to this
think it's
site
'cause I don't.
because you don't
I'm
have
okay.
taste, obviously.
I'm okay.
Molquin straps right here. These guys are genius in what they do.
I'm sure they make nice straps.
Look at
but
this.
that-
Look at this.
that
Look what
is
they do
a-
to the
that
new
is a
Daytona.
cheap-looking strap
my
on
God.
that watch. That cheapens that watch. I'm sorry.
I'm going to disagree. I like
Yeah.
it, but
They're beautiful. But, that's Matt Farah.
That's okay.
He
I
likes
disagree.
American cars.
What? Says I have a Lamborghini and a Porsche downstairs. I don't even own an American car anymore.
Don't make fun of my straps. You couldn't be more wrong.
I
All right, hold on. I'm trying to look for another question for us.
pre-screening Spike.
I know. I wish I had time for
let's
it.
talk about the $22 million Codex. That's the
The
Leonardo
Codex hammer?
Yeah.
That's $22 million?
More or less for that Leonardo da Vinci manuscript called the Leicester Codex or something.
I was
Go ahead.
It's a piece of parchment.
interested. I was talking to someone about painting the other day, and like a Basquiat and a Leonardo da Vinci
Right.
are like the same
Value,
price.
yeah.
And it's like
How does the world come up with these values?
no idea. What do you got, Spike? Anything worth?
No, someone is pointing out that we never followed up on Cat Bob episode. Cat Bob, the most option turbo. And I did. I reached out to Pete Stout. for Jerry's birthday when we were going to New York. I never heard back. I probably sent it to the wrong email address, but we definitely want to do that episode. I'm guessing Cat Bob does not want to do that episode.
We could bring him here to Matt Farah's house.
Yeah,
where we
sure.
have cats. He can bring his cats to Matt's cats.
Yeah, again, these folks have misunderstood what I asked them to do. Someone's asking what's the dumbest Porsche branded accessory item you have, and I do have a lot of
Have you
them. I
seen
have
the Porsche
ashtrays.
bong?
I have lighters.
There is one.
There's a Porsche bong.
Yeah, Porsche design bong. Yeah,
I've seen the Porsche. I've seen the Porsche boat on Instagram lately. Have you seen that thing?
I don't like the car boat crossovers unless it's an actual car-based engine in the boat, like when Lamborghini built the engines for the offshore racing. Like, that was pretty cool. But, like, Aston Martin and AMG have both recently done, quote, boats, and neither of them had anything to do with, like, they just had, like, regular, like, Mercury Marine engines. Like, what are you doing? Remember the Corvette Malibu ski boat where they put the 4 tail lights of the Corvette on the back of the Malibu water ski boat? Spike's got nothing. He's really in the
There's a lot of Gladiator questions. I'll tell you this.
I had it for a week.
I had such a bad experience at the Jeep dealership where I ordered my Gladiator that I don't want the Gladiator anymore. It was.
Really?
I went down there and they managed to drain all of my enthusiasm for the vehicle out of my body.
How
I
did
had
they
a
do
great
that?
name.
How did
What
they
was
do
the
that?
salesman's
But I don't want to say his name, but the
Come
lack
on.
of knowledge about the brand and the colors and I went down there to be sold and I was unsold. So I don't know if that's going to happen right now. I'm more interested in this Hennessy Raptor. I like John Hennessy.
Well, Vinny will get you in it for a couple days. You have fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
I've been turned off. I've wanted cars before, gotten to the dealership and had such a bad experience that I no longer want the cars. Yeah.
Here I am signing up for emails and everything else, and I go down there, and it's it was a weird experience. It was as if I never ordered the car, and I said, "Don't I have one on order?" And they go, "Yeah, but we got a red one right here," and I go,
Like they try to sell you another one.
Yeah, and I said, "What does that mean?" And I thought we were getting launch editions. Why are there other editions before the launch edition? Well, I don't know. You don't know? The very definition of the launch edition is the first edition. Yeah, those are delayed. Why? I don't know. Well, what color is is that, crystal granite gray? I don't know. Which color is that? Hold on. Let me go up back and find out what color that is as I'm pointing to a Jeep on his lot.
Yikes.
And I went, that is it.
Yeah.
That is it.
When I bought my Chevy Volt, which was a car I ended up loving, I think it's one of the best cars ever made.
Yep.
A guy at the dealership I went to had the audacity to call himself a Volt specialist and then proceed to know
Volt.
fuck all about the Volt, including when I went to power it up there was one on the showroom floor, and I went to power it up because I wanted to like play with the infotainment system, right?
Yes.
And he goes, "Oh, you can't turn that on in here." And I go, "Why not?" He goes, "Because the
Exhaust.
gas exhaust." I go, it's electric and the light is flashing and that. He goes, no, there's a gas engine. I go, it's not going to turn on. It's got charge. He goes, we can't do that in here. I go, oh, just God, get me out of here. I went to a different dealership, thank God. But
Look at this car right here before we go.
oh,
The 2020 Lotus Evora GT gets 6 extra horsepower. But look at how beautiful this car is.
can I tell you a little secret?
Well,
Spike?
hold on. Tip of the hat to these guys for, first of all, putting out a press car in a really cool color, and it looks beautiful, right? Isn't that great? Doesn't that kind of get you excited, Zuckerman?
Nice looking car.
Right? It's a nice looking car. That's what the Corvette should have done. It didn't do that. This is one picture on Jalopnik. I love it. I haven't driven it yet, but I'm guessing Matt Farah knows something about it. But I immediately look at that picture and I go, I want that.
Well, you drove the last Evora.
I did,
the
yes.
410s.
But, the number of press cars that get put out in that rust color, or the ones that get dropped
you don't
off
like
in
the burnt sienna?
the burnt siennas or the bright reds, and it's just, you put them on Instagram, it's like, oh, that color.
So I'll
but
tell
anyway,
you a little super secret.
yeah.
I got one of those already.
What do you mean?
I've already had a go.
And?
Really?
Yeah.
Are you embargoed?
I got a. Well, when does this air?
Is that it?
When is
Wednesday?
this
This
What?
Wednesday. This
I
Wednesday.
mean,
Spill it.
I had a go.
And is that guy that reached out to us there? What's his name?
The guy that had the go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say his name, but it's the guy who gave me a go, and it is fucking lightful.
It is.
Yeah, remember how good the last one was?
Yes.
It's that, but with like a little bit more horsepower. That's it. They haven't fucked it up. It's good. These cars are like Lotus makes the Evora range. It was granted, I'll admit that it was a little in the beginning. You know, it's now been almost 9 years. They've really slowly developed it. It is such a fucking great car for all occasions. You know, you sit in traffic and it's stick, but the clutch is so light, you don't hate yourself. The air conditioning's 3 knobs, but it blows ice cold. You know, it's a simple car, but it's really finely engineered. And
what do they cost?
The sticker on the one I drove, which was the green one, not that blue one, was $123. But this one was loaded up. That was press car price.
Right.
So it was $96 base, and then the one I drove had $6,000 worth of green, $6,000 worth of interior green, $10,000 worth of carbon fiber, and something else I cannot recall, but basically you spend $105 to get the exact car you want, and you are missing nothing. And it's the best. And like, there's no adjustments for the suspension, there's no comfort mode, sport mode. It just does everything on one setting.
I would
It's
say
delightful.
If money was no object, if I had to have a track car, that would be my track car.
So fun on a track too.
It is so
fun.
right as a track car.
The only mistake I think they made in the whole car is that it comes standard on Cup 2s, and I'm not a huge fan of Cup 2s for a street-driven car.
Right.
They don't last.
Right. 6,000 miles, and they've melted.
If that. And so I wish it had PS4Ss, but that's an easy thing to change later. But it's delightful. You should get it. Couple days.
I am.
You are, good.
They're gonna give me an extended loan for it.
Good.
So I'll get it. And
Yeah.
bomb
They're both
around it
press
and
cars
have
or
a good
manual.
time in it.
I
Fantastic.
just have trouble getting my head around the price. So it's a pricey.
It is a lot of
car.
money.
It is. They have kind of a floor, though. If you buy one, the floor on a supercharged Evora is like 65 to 70 right about now. So if you can get one, and they make deals on them. So you get one for the right price, you work your way through the warranty, and it's not so bad. Not as good as Porsche, but if you want a really, really nice, interesting alternative to a Porsche,
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's beautiful.
And they're
It is.
you don't see them. You drive it around.
Right.
I drove the last one for a month. I didn't see another one.
Yeah.
I took it to 5 track days. I took it all the canyons, all over LA. I did not see another
It's
one.
way
in a
better
month.
than the Alpha, but I think it's a lot more than the Alpha.
Yeah. It's A, much faster. B, much more forgiving. C, much more comfortable. And it's a fucking Camry engine. You can treat
right.
that car so badly. You can treat it like garbage, and it's fine. Seriously. Don't change the oil. Like, don't worry about it. You're good.
Drive it like you hate it.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to let you get on with your Sundays here. And you folks with your Wednesdays, thank you for sitting down with us. This time we left 4 seats open for the listeners. Look, we're at a big round table here.
3 and Jehovah.
And what do you have to promote? Anybody you want to
Westside
toss
Collector Car Storage.
Okay, go ahead.
If you're in Los Angeles and you are frustrated with the options for caring for vehicles, I'm here for you.
How far out before this thing opens up?
October 1, we're going to be open.
October 1.
Yeah, I believe.
Just in time for
believe
Halloween.
So. I believe.
Okay.
I believe very strongly.
And I'm going to come there and smoke cigars. We're going to have a big cigar smoke.
Yes, I will put your name on a whiskey locker.
And I'll bring you a Molequin watch strap so
And
you can
thank you for
experience it.
Thank you for the bottle of bourbon or whiskey. Zuckerman.
Scotch.
Thank you.
It's
Scotch.
Glenn Levitt, 18 years old, as a wedding housewarming gift.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
nice.
Yeah, we're trying to get him off the weed.
It's not working.
What about
just do
you,
both.
Zuckerman? What do you got to say before we go?
Thank you, Zagato. Thank you, Farah. And if you've been in an accident, reach out to Carpenter, Zuckerman, and Rowley.
Yeah.
Friends don't let friends plead guilty.
I love that guy. He's 100 years old. Miles L. Berman. My Miles L. Berman.
How do you get the phone number with all the 2s on it, the guy on the bus?
You gotta
Started
be
in
100.
1971.
Right, exactly. Or you buy it from someone else.
And as I've said, we got a couple things going on here. Go to Blip Shift. ShiftShift.com right now. Get the new Spike's Car Radio t-shirt, Plan Z. Carve up those cars, spread out the money. Don't worry about the insurance and registration. We don't. And you want to come see me? I'm going to be up at the Pebble Beach Concours Thursday, August 15th with special guest Adam Carolla for a forum. Could be sold out by now, but if it is, message me, and if I like you, I might get you in. And then Friday at 11 a.m., I'm teaming up with Porsche Motorsports. And they're bringing in Hurley Haywood and Pat Dempsey, and we're going to talk about racing Porsches. You can get some insight from two pros on how to race your Porsche, and we're also going to be talking about Hurley the movie. And come on, when was the last time you got a chance to meet Hurley Haywood and Pat Dempsey? They're awesome. That's 11 o'clock Friday morning for Pat and Porsche and Hurley, and Thursday at 2 p.m., me and Adam Carolla. And that's it. We'll see you next week on Spike's Car Radio.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio. Download new episodes every Wednesday on the Podcast One app or subscribe now at Apple Podcasts or PodcastOne.com.
Ever tried reading while jogging, cooking, or even juggling flaming torches? Yeah, it doesn't end well. But with audiobooks.com, you can conquer books without the circus act. Dive into over 450,000 titles, including more than 10,000 free ones. Get hooked on a bestseller, find your next obsession, or finally read that classic you've been avoiding since high school. And here's the inside scoop. Sign up today for a free 30-day trial and snag your first 3 audiobooks on the house. Sign up for your free trial at audiobooks.com/podcastfree today. That's audiobooks.com/podcastfree.